This wasn't satanic panic. This was chemistry meets heresy. Hello my friends, it's Tom Hatsis, and this is Bilia's Brew, the Toad Eucharist of medieval heretics. What if the Church's greatest fear wasn't rebellion, but revelation? What if a strange brew passed around a fire in the dark Alpine hills could open your mind and unravel centuries of doctrine? This is the story of Bilia la Castagna, a woman accused of heresy, and her legendary potion. In the 13th century, the Waldensians, Christian heretics of the Italian-French border, were being hunted. Waldensianism began in the late 12th century with Peter Waldo, a wealthy merchant from Lyon, who renounced his possessions to live a life of poverty and preaching, emphasizing direct access to God. His followers, known as Waldensians, rejected the authority of the clergy. The movement was condemned as heretical by the Catholic Church, leading to centuries of persecution, including massacres and forced conversions. Forced into hiding the Cottian Alps, they became outlaws, spiritual rebels, survivors, and, sometimes, killers. By the late 1300s, they had re-established themselves in towns between Susa and Pignerol, with whispers of their presence even reaching Turin. For the Inquisitors, these people were not just heretics. They were ghosts, cunning, isolated, resilient, and persistent enough to outlast even the most determined heresy hunters. Until one showed up. Anthony de Seto, a Dominican friar from Savigliano, wasn't easily deterred. In November 1387, he captured Antonio Golosna, a Waldensian missionary who'd been preaching the heresy for 25 years. At first, Golosna denied everything, but like most confessions of the time, torture changed the story. He was bounced between civil and religious authorities, sometimes promised freedom, other times promised more pain. His confession shifted with the pressure, but one detail remained oddly consistent, strangely specific. De Seto asked Golosna, "Who among the sect is revered?" Golosna replied, "Bilia la Castagna, who carries with her a phial filled with a strange potion made from the emissions of a large toad and the ashes of burned hares, mixed around a fire on the eve of the Epiphany. A folk potion passed around in secret. Some even said that it almost killed a man. Others claimed it revealed the secrets of the sect and awakened questions that could never be unasked. Toad emissions? Burned hair? A midnight ritual? It sounds absurd until you realize that toads secrete bufotenine, a natural psychoactive compound that has been known to cause visuals, bewilderment, and in high doses, even death. And the date of the ritual? The eve of the Epiphany, matches old calendars for folk magical rites. Was the potion real? Was it an entheogen, a sacred substance used to induce mystical experiences? Or was Golosna simply parroting what he thought the Inquisitors wanted to hear? Some scholars think that Golosna's testimony was shaped by Pope Gregory IX's Vox in Rama, which accused heretics of dark orgies and rituals where cats were worshipped. But here's the twist. None of Gregory's other accusations appear in Golosna's statements. No orgies, no cats, no satanic kisses. Just a potion. A very specific, pharmacologically plausible potion. So if the Inquisitor was inventing this detail, why not go bigger? Why all the restraint? Inquisitors of the time were known to exaggerate these kinds of confessions. And yet, we don't see much of any of that here. Maybe because this wasn't an invention. Maybe De Seto had truly encountered a toad-based Eucharist in some corner of fringe Christianity. Modern science confirms bufotenine, found in some toad species, is psychoactive. In fact, we get our modern word buffoon from bufotenine, a callback to the intoxicated antics that can arise after ingesting it. Small doses can engender subtle shifts in visual perception, e.g. enhanced colors, light tracers, increased introspection or emotional sensitivity, heightened awareness of bodily sensations, a sense of presence or connection to nature or surroundings. In large doses, it can cause swelling, nausea, and even death, just like Golosna described. There is still another possibility. What if the toad was really a scribal misunderstanding of a toadstool, a medieval analogy for mushrooms? The earliest known use is often credited to John Trevisa, who used the term in his English translation of De Proprietatibus Rerum, or On the Properties of Things, a 13th century encyclopedia originally written in Latin by Bartholomeus Anglicus. Sadly, there's just no way to know. And keep in mind, Golosna wasn't alone. Other sources mention drugs in food used by heretics to provoke visions. One theologian in the 1460s claimed that these drugs or potions could stimulate the parts of the brain that govern the senses. This wasn't satanic panic. This was chemistry meets heresy. So what was Bilia's brew? A myth? A metaphor? Or a surviving echo of an underground Christianity, one where the divine was not preached, but experienced? The church burned those heretics, but it's possible that in the ashes we find more than fear. We find forgotten sacraments, lost medicines, and a deeper story about what it means to seek God, not just with the book, but with the mind and body. If you found this story as compelling as I did, please give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone curious about the untold side of history. And let me know in the comments, what do you think? Was Bilia a heretic, a mystic, or just a misunderstood healer? Thanks for watching. See you next time in the margins of the unknown. I'm Tom Hatsis, your entheo historian, reminding you that you free your mind by using your brain. Peace.